WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan women's basketball. Alongside Adam Bressler, my name is Adam Rich. We'll be bringing you the first half today, and for the second half, you'll be treated to Zach Corson and Will Simke. Now for Michigan, coming off an 81-73 loss Thursday at Northwestern, the Wolverines look to bounce back against the streaking Hawkeyes, winners of 9 in a row, who also happen to sit atop the Big Ten conference standings. Adam, with a win today, Michigan would add a much-needed win to their resume, as it would be their first of the season against a ranked team. For that to happen, though, what will the Wolverines need to change from Thursday?
Yeah, so on Thursday, let's preface this. They have a really tough stretch of schedule right here. The schedule maker was giving them no favors with this one. They played on the road in Evanston, and then coming home to the number 1 ranked in the Big Ten, 18th nationally, Iowa Hawkeyes. It's just going to be tough. And they've had 2 days of rest, which is good, but not ideal, obviously. But coming off of Thursday's loss, they just couldn't contain junior guard Lindsey Pullum. She finished the evening with 32 points, which was a big difference maker. Michigan was just unable to close out. With just under 6 minutes left, Michigan was within 3 points, and then they let Northwestern Wildcats just run away with it. Hillman did have 27 points, very strong, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Dilt, 15 points, Verjao, 11, Brown, 9. All 9 of Brown's points coming from 3. So very well distributed. I just think they just can't lit up when the game gets tight and got to keep playing. They actually held the lead. They had a 9-0 run midway through the third quarter to regain the lead. So they definitely have the ability to get streaky. In terms of this game against Iowa, you mentioned it could be the first win over a ranked opponent. That would be a huge win for their resume, especially considering Iowa's on top of the Big Ten standings at the moment. They're going to have to shut down Kathleen Doyle, 18.9 points per game, and Mackenzie Meyer, 15 points per game. So those are the 2 players I think they should pay extra attention to.
A whole bunch of scoring on the Hawkeye side. They've had 70-plus points in 8 of their last 9. Additionally, on the season, they are undefeated when they score over 70 points. So that will be the magic number as we trek along. For the Michigan Wolverines, we've mentioned that this would be their first win over a ranked opponent. They've had 4 tries already this season. They lost at Northwestern. They've faced Maryland twice, losing both of those. And then they also faced Florida State early in the season. However, what looms large in this season, in this, I guess, trend, if you will, against stronger programs. The game earlier in the year against Notre Dame, Michigan had an excellent chance to beat a juggernaut. Now, granted, Notre Dame really struggling this season, but still, from a confidence perspective, that can really usher you forward into a season, really buoy your team's chances. And for Michigan, it seems like, in a way, that loss really emblematic of their grander struggles to take down more storied teams that tend to come in with not necessarily a little bit more talent, because this Michigan team very talented, but teams that in a way come in with a little bit more experience, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. And I believe at the time that game was held, both Michigan and Notre Dame were ranked. Now neither team is ranked, so it just shows you how the season turned out for them. But you're right, starting the season out was the first Power 5 opponent Michigan faced. I don't know if I'd count them for the ACC in basketball.
Yeah, they are in the ACC in basketball.
First Power 5 they faced all season, and it's rough when you go open the season like that. It's just such a close game, but you can't close out. So this Iowa game would be huge.
And speaking of injuries, also afflicting the Wolverines, Kayla Robbins just 2 weeks ago against Nebraska tore her ACL, out for the season. A major bit of production to be replaced for Michigan. Danielle Roush has been starting in her place. She will start again tonight. And on the Iowa side, the Hawkeyes once again in the starting lineup without Monica Sanano. She rolled her ankle against Michigan State, had 4 points in 19 minutes before exiting the contest. Did not play on Thursday against Penn State, a game the Hawkeyes won handily at home. Looking to win handily again today. The tip-off, Naz Hillman wins that one for the Wolverines for Michigan. Amy Dilka, Kenray Johnson, Danielle Roush, Naz Hillman, and Haley Brown, Iowa side. Mackenzie Meyer, Alexis Civilian, McKenna Warnock stepping in place of Monica Monica Sonano, Kathleen Doyle, and Amanda Olinger. Wolverines passing the ball around the perimeter, 9:42-12 on the shot clock. Kenray Johnson, skip pass, Roush looks to drive, flips, Dilk, top of the key, Dilk, guarded by Civilian, Dilk, floater from just inside the lane, no good. Rebound Iowa, several bodies converging, but it's McKenna Warnock coming up with that one.
Yeah, Michigan unable to get any points on the board with the first possession of the game, and it's turned over to Iowa.
Meyer, a good basket cut, swatted by Amy Dilk. Wolverines coming back the other way, an opportunity now for them. Score still knotted up at 0, trickling down to 9 minutes on the game clock. Haley Brown up top, thought she had a look, thought better of it, over to Johnson. Johnson, waiting on a ball screen, rejects it from Haley Brown. Now the swing out to Brown. She traveled, though, on the perimeter. A turnover, the first of the game for either side, and the Hawkeyes will get the ball back.
That's something to keep an eye on, is the turnovers. As we mentioned earlier, Michigan, those turnovers were really brutal much of the season, especially against Notre Dame in that early season matchup. And Iowa goes up for the shot, unable to make it. It is still 0-0, 8:45 remaining.
Good drive by Hillman, a better finish for Naz Hillman. The first points of the game to the Michigan Wolverines, and Naz Hillman, who, as you said, Adam, had a monster game, played all 40 minutes against Northwestern, had 27 points, got 11 of those at the line, 11 of 14, far and away her best career performance. Hillman now guarding Warnock, who had a great game herself the other night against Penn State. It's Mackenzie.
Goes towards the basket, loose ball, and Michigan scoops it up. So far today, this has been all Michigan. Fast break, number 1, Dilk goes up for the shot. And it's money. And with that, Michigan takes a 6-0 lead.
Hawkeyes usually highly reliant on their offense, unable to get anything going. Just under 3 minutes into this one, a strong drive there by Kathleen Doyle, the Hawkeyes' leading scorer, trying to mix things up. Instead, she is fouled. She's going to have a chance to inbound the ball now underneath, a little bit shaken up, and that would be a huge loss for a Hawkeye team that really only plays 7 players in the first place, and they have been further hindered by the loss of Monica Sonano.
Yeah, absolutely. The beginning of this game has been really strong, though, for the Wolverines. 6-0 lead. And Iowa just playing very sloppily.
Errant inbound pass, Hawkeyes able to recover from just outside the stripe. No good on the shot by Amanda Olinger, and the Wolverines a strong rebound now. 7 minutes left in this first quarter. Michigan leading 6-0. Tried to pass inside was Amy Dilk to Naz Hillman. Deflected, though, off the fingers of Hillman. Out of bounds, ball back to the Hawkeyes.
For those just tuning in, Hillman has 4 of the 6 points for the Wolverine. The other 2 comes from Dilk. Inbound pass for Iowa. Finds Doyle, who's taking it down the court.
Apologies for the technical difficulties earlier. Some issues with our USB device, but we are back. The Hawkeyes looking to crawl back into this one. It's Sullivan from 3, hits from 3. Alexis Civilian, a good-looking shot. Wolverines got caught on the screen, and Civilian freed up for the deep ball.
And with that, it's only a 3-point game. Iowa cuts their deficit in half with that shot.
Hawkeyes in a 2-3 hybrid zone. It's Hillman, elbow extended, looking around, finds Dilk. Dilk trying her luck from 3 from the men's line, hits from the men's line. Amy Dilk splashed that one home, nothing but net for the sophomore, who needs to play a huge role tonight, particularly on the defensive side, trying to lock up Mackenzie Meyer. Offense now for the Hawkeyes. It's Warnock, swings to the aforementioned Meyer from the corner, hits from the corner. A sweet-looking stroke from the redshirt junior.
With 6 minutes left, Michigan leads 6-9.
Inside pass. Haley Brown didn't go up strong, able to get the ball back, swatted it back in bounds. Fast break opportunity now for the Hawkeyes. Kathleen Doyle swings. It's Meyer. Great fake into the mid-range. Swings out to Doyle. Great hands. Amy Dilk getting involved. Ball battered around. Bodies hitting the floor. And Naz Hillman able to secure and settle. Danielle Rausch now across the timeline. 5:30 to go. Michigan leading 9-6 still. Michigan a chance with just under 20 seconds on the shot clock getting into their offense. Hawkeyes now in a little bit more of a man defense, but still shades of a zone hybrid, really showing different looks and not even guarding Naz Hillman out on the perimeter. High-low action. That ball deflected. Great defensive play by Amanda Ollinger. Kathleen Doyle, the senior, pushing up. She's fouled from behind, though, by a Kenray Johnson. And with that, it's 5:17 to go. Michigan going to make a sub. Maddie Nolan going to check into the game. The first foul on a Kenray Johnson, and Johnson found herself in major foul trouble the other night against Northwestern. In that game, Johnson only able to muster 4 points on 1 of 7 shooting, had 6 turnovers as well. So Johnson looking to turn her fortunes around here today.
Absolutely. And so far, looking good for the Wolverines. 3-point lead over the Hawkeyes.
Wolverines applying some good defensive pressure. It's Doyle looking to drive. Dilk gets middle, floats. No good off the side of the rim. Naz Hillman, the strong rebound. Amy Dilk back the other way. Finally under 5 minutes. Wolverines across. It's Maddie Nolan, the freshman, getting a lot of minutes late. Great pass inside. Haley Brown pumped and then goes up with it and finishes as well. Haley Brown looked like she almost spooked herself down low.
Yeah, that was a beautiful ball movement. Perfect pass from Nolan to set up that layup by Brown.
Mackenzie Meyer tried to skip past too high, though, just beyond the reach of Amanda Ollinger, the 6'1 senior. And in a way, if Monica Sonano, the 6'3 sophomore, were out there, she would have been able to handle that one, but instead a turnover on the Hawkeye side, that one being their second of the game.
Yes, and that's something we're going to keep an eye on. We were discussing a little bit earlier about some of the struggles this season, and turnovers have definitely been high on that list. So far, Michigan has committed 3 turnovers, and Iowa's committed 3 as well.
We've got more turnovers than minutes played. Never a good sign, but something that has also become relatively emblematic of this Wolverines team, an inability to hang on to the basketball. And granted, things have seemingly gotten a little bit better with the addition of Danielle Rauch, adding an extra ball handler into the traditional lineup as opposed to Kayla Robbins. But nonetheless, like you said, those 3 turnovers still looming large, and they will throughout the course of this one.
Yeah, and some of that could be attributed to sloppy play. Some of that could be attributed to good defense. When you're facing the number 18 nationally ranked Iowa Hawkeyes, you're going to have to expect good defense. Got to make good pass attempts. You can't play sloppy basketball.
Well, against Rutgers last Sunday, the Wolverines won that one at home. That was the last time they were in the Crisler Center. They had 20 turnovers, but they made up for it by shooting a whopping 50% from the floor. So when they got shots up, it was as if they couldn't miss, but then the big issue was just getting those shots up themselves. Unable on many possessions, 20, in fact, to even muster up a shooting attempt. And, you know, a lot of the time we say that bad shots are the equivalent of turnovers, but many of those turnovers for Michigan, live ball turnovers themselves, enabling Rutgers to get going back the other way and get some opportunities that the Michigan defense generally wouldn't allow.
Yeah, Michigan's shooting percentage hasn't been exceptional this season, but many of those aforementioned turnovers have come on transition play, have come on errant passes, come on bad steals. So I agree with what you're saying about bad shot selections. But I think there also needs to be some focus on those transition play.
Offensively, Michigan really loves the high-low, shooting 45% from the floor as a team and only 31 from deep, so their bread and butter is down in and around the high post, in and around the low block, and Iowa thus far done a pretty good job of fronting. However, on 2 or 3 possessions, the Hawkeyes with that fronting strategy and not helping from the weak side have been burned by some great over-the-top passes from the Wolverines. As a result, Naz Hillman with 4 points. Amy Dilk, she's got 5, and although a perimeter-oriented player, she had a shot earlier in and around the elbow, so Michigan focused on getting that ball inside, collapsing a Hawkeye defense that thus far has shifted between zone and man and getting some good looks.
Yeah, Michigan, good looks is an understatement. They are 5 for 7 on the game, 5 for their last 6 from the field, including 1 for 1 from beyond the arc.
Starters, sans Kenray Johnson out there for Michigan on the Hawkeye side. Looks like Monica Sonano is actually in the game, a surprise entry. The team was relatively hesitant to play her. She sat out on Thursday, but I guess that ankle is feeling up to snuff, so we'll get a first look at her. She came in along with the freshman Gabby Marshall. Hawkeyes now just over 4 minutes, 17 on the shot clock. Working around the perimeter, Doyle looks to drive. Nolan flips inside finish. A beautiful scoop with the right hand from the left side.
Yeah, Michigan trying to make something happen here, but their lead is down to 3.
Hawkeyes in a little bit of a hybrid zone. Dilk slips through. A great pass and a better finish by the sophomore, laying that one in. No one near her. Several layups now for Michigan that have been entirely uncontested. Hawkeye high-low. That pass, though, mishandled by the aforementioned Sonano. Recently checked in, but instead of putting up 2 points and contributing to the Hawkeye effort, she will pick up a turnover, team trailing 8-13.
Yeah, Michigan has really excelled at their ball movement and shot selection this game. Something to keep an eye on if they could keep it up.
Hawkeyes in a 1-1-3. Danielle Rauch finds herself wide open in the corner, hits from the corner. Danielle Rauch, a rainbow three, finds its way to the bottom of the cup.
That's Michigan is 2 for 2 on the afternoon from beyond the arc.
A wide open look for McKenna Warnock. That one hit the front rim, barely grazed it. In fact, in Michigan now a chance. Looked for the fast break. Hillman, good position down low, couldn't find her. Wolverines around the perimeter. Danielle Rauch on the near wing, swings. Nolan pumps inside. Brown power dribble, fouled from the inside. McKenna Warnock tried to go up strong and stifle Haley Brown, but instead whacked her on the wrist. And the Canadian junior will now have a chance for 2 at the free throw line.
Yeah, Michigan, an 8-point lead, their largest of the game, possibly make it double digits after this trip to the line.
And a surprising result. In fact, the Hawkeyes, as we mentioned, as Haley Brown hits the first, winners of 9 in a row. They lost their first Big Ten game at Nebraska. That one probably came as a shock, particularly when you see the wins they have racked up afterwards. But hey, Michigan coming in with confidence as Haley Brown hits the second despite losing that game on Thursday. Brown now checks out, and it's Isabel Verajao into the game. Verajao, the 7th rotation player. We really only see 7 from Michigan. Occasionally you'll get Emily Kaiser, occasionally you'll get Michelle Sador, but for the most part, only the 7 who have thus far found themselves in the game today.
Yeah, Michigan is, after the injuries, they have a really tiny bench. They only got 10 players, I believe, in total.
Warnock drives Hillman, got her beat, put it up, couldn't get it to go. Off the side of the backboard, rebound Michigan, pushing attempt. Danielle Rauch nearly walked with it. Hawkeye bench clamoring for a travel. Verajao now from the middle, swings Nolan. Verajao looking for post position, can't find. Pass from the elbow, high-low. Verajao gets that position, finishes from down low. And Lisa Bluter on the Hawkeye side forced to call a timeout. Michigan a commanding 20-8 lead with 2:25 to go in the first period.
Michigan, they have a 9-0 run over the past minute 29. We mentioned how streaky they could get. In Evanston on Thursday, they went on a 9-0 run as well in the middle of the third quarter, but it wasn't quite enough to finish that one out. But this is a commanding lead to begin the game.
Wolverines a blistering 73% from the floor. That high-low action working to perfection as it did on that possession. And for Iowa, a team that lost star center, in fact, last year's Naismith Player of the Year, Megan Gustafson, they've been a little hard-pressed to find some height down low, and Michigan early taking advantage. Tons of size across the board from the Wolverines, picking their spots and going at this slightly undersized Iowa team. And in addition to being slightly undersized, the problem has only been exacerbated by Monica Sonano's ankle issue. Sonano looking to post up. You can see her there, just barely able to muster enough leg strength to get down low. That ankle clearly not okay, but her team needing her today. They're going to need a huge effort from her likely as they trail by 12 early on. Kenray Johnson now coming back into the game. Maddie Nolan checks out, and Maddie Nolan, a player who in the past had an ACL tear, I'm sure could tell these Hawkeye players about how to deal with injuries. I'm sure she has been consulting Kayla Robbins for Michigan as well, offensive side Hawkeyes. That ball nearly lost by Kathleen Doyle. An offensive foul called instead. A push off there. Great footwork by Isabel Verajao, the big, getting out in space and drawing the contact.
Yeah, and Michigan has another opportunity to extend their lead. This first quarter could not have gone better for the Wolverines.
Hawkeyes in a kind of awkward 1-1-3, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Michigan doing a bunch of baseline action to try and circumvent that 1-1-3. Post touch now, around the nail, it's Verjao. High-low, too many people down low. That ball batted away, trap in the corner. Doyle flings the ball out after getting the steal. Hawkeyes recover. Civilian up into the front court. Thinks better of it, takes a breather, 1:40 to go, and instead an offensive foul. Monica Sonano's troubles continue. Several turnovers and then a little bit too much force there as she tried to set her position up down low against the freshman Verjao.
Yeah, 2 straight possessions, both of them ending in offensive fouls for the Hawkeyes. If they want to close this gap, that's not the way to do it.
And Sonano will see her way to the bench. Amanda Ollinger going to check back in for the Hawkeyes. Just over a minute 30 the scoring, holding at 20-8. Michigan in the lead. Dilk around a ball screen from Verjao, looking high-low once again. Roush corner. She's met by Doyle. Pass, that ball was kicked. It looked like a delayed call from the referee after some bodies hit the floor a little bit late there, a little bit dangerous as a result, but luckily everybody okay as they pick themselves off the hardwood.
So with 1:25 left, Michigan has a commanding 12-point lead. It's a 9-0 run over the last 2:27 of game clock.
Johnson thought about trying her luck from 3, thought better of it. Pass now, Hillman. Around the nail, Hillman looking to drive Ollinger. Nearly slid her foot. She did slide her back foot. A travel on the sophomore Naz Hillman. Looking to do a little bit too much. She's had some success down low, 2 of 2 on the game, but attacking from up top, dragging that foot, and a travel as the Hawkeyes now come down on the offensive side. They've had more turnovers, 5 in fact, than recent minutes. 5 turnovers in just under 5 minutes, and another turnover for the Hawkeyes. The woes continue. Fast break chance, Michigan. Amy Dilk pushing up into the front court. Swings corner. Roush wanted to shoot. Instead decides not to, pass inside, but now a turnover's on the Michigan side. Naz Hillman clamoring for a foul there. It looked like she was almost held down by the undersized McKenna Warnock, but instead the Hawkeyes going to have a chance once again to rectify these struggles that have persisted on the turnover front.
Yeah. Michigan, they're looking good so far. 6 turnovers is better than they've performed previously in the season, but still not ideal. And just under a minute left in the first quarter, Iowa's taking the possession now.
Hawkeyes looking to take it easy. Civilian tried to drive Nolan. Kicks outside to Tomi Tewo. Recently checked in, pass down low. Another turnover, but the Wolverines end up mishandling it. That one fumbled down low by Haley Brown, kicked off her foot, out of bounds. The Hawkeyes going to have another chance. The shot clock did not reset. The officials ruled, so 8 seconds left, just over 30 on the game clock. Hawkeyes baseline inbound. A foul, though, called before they can get it in. That one looks like it's going to go against Haley Brown on the Wolverines. Just a little bit of a tug down low with that. She's going to have to check out, and Naz Hillman will come back in. You can see the depth issues manifesting themselves. Naz Hillman wanted a break before the quarter, but unable to get it. Hawkeyes now a fresh shot clock at 20 off the reset on the foul. It's Civilian up top. She tries her luck from 3 and hits from 3. That ball barely hit anything as it made its way through the net.
And the shot clock is turned off as Michigan has one last possession in the first quarter.
Wolverines leading 20-11. The clock ticking around near 10. Dilk around a ball screen from Verjao to the corner. Nolan nearly walked with it. Nolan working her way out. Dilk looks to drive, gets to the middle, bounced that one off a Hawkeye. The ball caromed around, ends up out of bounds on the baseline. The ball going to stay with the Wolverines. Dilk, a little bit of a pinball pass there. Tried to make the nifty look down low to a fellow Wolverine. Unable to, though. Now 3.7, Dilk, the inbounder, into Johnson. Johnson shoots from the mid-range, gets it to go. A punctuating end to the quarter from Akenray Johnson, a quarter in which Michigan shot 75%, 9 of 12 from the floor, including 2 of 2 at the line to rack up a 22-11 lead.
I don't think anyone in the stadium thought this is how the game would begin, and the crowd is loving it. We see a lot of pink wearing fans in the crowd today. I believe they have a special event going on.
It is Pink Day in honor of breast cancer survivors. The giveaway today, pink beanies. There are signs all over the concourse that say, "I stand up for X," name someone who has survived cancer, a disease that touches so many people. Great to see the Wolverines honoring them. They did this last year as well. I was actually a fan at that game, picked up a pink headband during that one. A nice giveaway today. The Michigan Ops staff always does a great job getting the community involved, and what better way to get the community involved than with a Cancer Honorees Day. And
what's a better way than a pink t-shirt toss right now? The fans are the loudest they've been all afternoon.
Yeah, I'd say I'll call it a pseudo-statistical analysis.
Okay.
The easiest way to get people on their feet, cheering and waving their hands, is the t-shirt toss.
I think one way could top it. T-shirt toss with one of those hydraulic cannons. Everyone loves those.
The hydraulic cannon's huge at the big house, and we're getting some souvenirs up here at WCBN Sports. A fantastic toss by some of the cheerleaders down on the court. Two of our co-workers up here going away with some pink t-shirts, finding themselves lucky. Yeah. I'll say it stacks up just below earlier in the year, working for Big Ten Network. A co-worker of mine was gifted with a t-shirt from none other than Michigan basketball's Isaiah Livers. Came over to the scorer's table and placed it in my color commentator's hand. However, looking at these ones, hail to the fighters, a great tribute to all those who have dealt with and survived cancer. Once again,
incredibly designed t-shirt.
A disease that just unfortunately touches so many people. And the Wolverine Ops staff making the Crisler Center decked out in pink for this afternoon's game. And, for Iowa, they've really seen a lot of blue lately, the Democratic caucus coming up tomorrow. So a nice change to see some pink.
Eyes of the nation's going to be turned to all across the state of Iowa. One day every Olympiad years. So I'm personally very into politics, so I'll be watching that tomorrow.
As will I. And, it's funny. People always ask why Iowa, and having some Iowa lineage, myself, my dad's side of the family from there, it really is random as to why Iowa got that spot following the disastrous 1968 Democratic Convention, in which the younger wing of the party was irate with how the party elders chose the nominees. It was Eugene McCarthy passed over for the nomination. The process was changed to bring the voting to the people, and Iowa got that first spot, and they still fight for it. Iowa party leaders joke that if they have to vote in August the year before, they will do it. It's Mackenzie Meyer now back to the action. 14 seconds on the shot clock. A lovely tangent about the Iowa political system. The Iowa offensive system looking to get going. They cannot, as Kathleen Doyle bounces another ball off her foot. The woes continue. New quarter, same problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Iowa tried to make adjustments, but so far we're seeing none of them.
Certainly would have met in a huddle and voted, if you will, on how to attack this quarter.
Held a mini caucus.
Exactly. They had to get 15% or more to agree on a plan. Wolverines back on the offensive side, trying her luck from three. It's Nolan. No good. Strong rebound by Kathleen Doyle. Haven't said much of her in a positive light today. Doyle, only 2 points. She's had 20-plus in 6 of her last 7, but thus far, nowhere near on pace for that one. On the wing, the freshman McKenna Warnock. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Score still 22-11. It's Mackenzie Meyer looking to drive. Great hedge by Isabel Verja, met now by Nolan, who picks up a foul. Maddie Nolan a little too eager, trying to catch the edge and beat Mackenzie Meyer in a battle of the number three for Iowa. Mackenzie Meyer taking that one.
Yes. And 9 minutes remaining in the first half. No points yet put up in the first minute of the quarter. But Michigan still leading by a resounding 11 points, 22-11.
It's Alexis Civilian on the wing for the Hawkeyes. Rejects the ball screen, drives baseline, lost that one as well. She was met by Naz Hillman. Akenray Johnson nearly had it ripped for her. Michigan now back the other way, no numbers. So Danielle Roush will pull up, 8:43. Like you said, Adam, still 22-11. Not much going here. A lot of turnovers early on. Michigan looking to go high-low. Hillman tries her luck from just beyond the free throw line. Gets it to go from just beyond the free throw line. Naz Hillman now up to 6 points. Still perfect. A clean 3 of 3 from the field for the big woman.
Exactly. Michigan has been very successful shooting-wise this afternoon. 71% field goal percentage, 66 from 3.
Alexis Civilian fouled down low by Verjao. Verjao did a good job to slide over some strong help defense from the freshman, showing off those chops that made her one of the top recruits in the country, but picked up a foul, and Alexis Civilian now going to go to the line for the first 2 free throw attempts of the game for the Hawkeyes. On the year, the team shooting 75% from the line. Civilian herself, an excellent free throw shooter at 82%.
Yeah, and you mentioned how Iowa has not lost a game that they've broken 70. Is that right?
Yes.
So far they've had 11 through the first quarter. At that rate, they'd only finish with 44, well under the 70. This is a good look for Michigan.
Civilian hits both, and naturally the turnover numbers will adjust to the mean, but yes, Michigan's plan certainly to slow this game up and not let the Hawkeye offense get out and attack. Danielle Roush misses a 3. Great rebound. Hillman, power dribble, lost that one though. Mackenzie Meyer recovers in the corner. Hawkeyes looking to push as we trickle down to 8 minutes left in this second quarter. Michigan leading 24-13 still. Up around the elbow, it's Amanda Olinger, shoots, scores, but the basket waved off. A foul down low. It was Monica Sanano, who we saw pick up 2 offensive fouls and several turnovers in that first corner. She was tugged from behind by Isabel Berajau, who will pick up her second foul of the early going.
Yeah, Michigan already committed 3 fouls in the first 2 minutes of the quarter. Not a great start. They did a pretty great job in the first quarter limiting those fouls, prevented Iowa from going to the line whatsoever throughout that first 10 minutes of play. But not a good adjustment for them.
The Hawkeyes undeterred that first quarter, a lot of attacking the basket, continuing that, mixing it up how they attack the basket, working a little bit more from the perimeter here as opposed to pumping the ball inside where they saw so many turnovers manifest themselves. So for Coach Lisa Bluter, I'm sure grateful to see the team get back to those attacking ways. And for Kathleen Doyle, who only has 2 points and 1 assist, a surprising turn. And interestingly enough, the basket ruled to be good. Iowa going to get the ball back. So it is 24-15 down on the floor. Michigan, though, a little bit of ball don't lie off the foul, getting the ball back. It's Amy Dilk passing inside. Hillman met by 2 Hawkeyes over Amanda Olinger. No good. Isabel Berajau fighting for the rebound. Can't get it to go. Nearly lost down low by Monica Sanano, but secured, and now up to Kathleen Doyle. She's met by Dilk. Doyle drives to the right side, flips up, nearly fouled Berajau. No foul. Michigan rebound, and now an offensive transition opportunity. Roush to the cup, nearly pushed off, nearly traveled. Misses that one. A little bit of ball don't lie in her case. Swing to Berajau, stretching her range. No good. In and out. Kenray Johnson hustling down low, and she ends up batting that one off of Mackenzie Meyer. And Michigan going to retain the basketball with 7:24 to go, 20 on the shot clock, still leading by 9 early in this second period.
The lead isn't as large as it previously was, but Michigan is still playing dominant and doing what they need to do to hold this lead. Michigan is 0 of 4 from their last 4 field goal attempts. Something to keep an eye on if they can maybe break it.
Yeah, after that torrid start where the Wolverines shot 75%, they've cooled down to 55. Dilk grabbed from behind by Kathleen Doyle. That foul going to be the second now on Kathleen Doyle, so 2 fouls in this first half. Costly, but the Hawkeyes really don't have much of a choice but to keep Kathleen Doyle out there despite her foul trouble and her struggle. She's going to check out, but with Gabby Marshall, the freshman, coming in, I can't imagine that Kathleen Doyle will be out for long.
Oh, yeah, me neither. And 7:18 remaining in the first half. Michigan leads 24-15, 9-point lead for the Wolverines.
Hawkeyes back in zone. It's Haley Brown trying to pass inside. Dilk somehow recovers a batted pass. She misses the layup on the left side. Hillman rebounds, lays it in from down low. Naz Hillman using the glass to her advantage, and Michigan extending their lead back into double digits.
Hillman still perfect from the field. 4 for 4 on the day, 8 points.
Alexis Civilian up top, just under 7 minutes to go. She swings Olinger on the perimeter, a little bit out of her element. It's Gabby Marshall, the freshman, looking a little tentative. She gives it up to Alexis Civilian. Civilian now driving middle on Johnson, picks up a foul on Johnson, and Johnson cannot believe that one. That foul on Johnson going to be her second, and it looked like, in a way, Alexis Civilian had pushed off with her right hand as she drove, but instead a Kenray Johnson whistled for the hack there.
Yeah, the team has 4 fouls committed in the first 3:18 of the quarter. That's outrageous.
Off the inbound, Mackenzie Meyer wide open. She makes the Wolverines pay. Iowa now back within 8, 26-18, 6.5 to go. Mackenzie Meyer, too good a shooter. You cannot leave her open like that. Last year, Her 62 three-pointers as a junior were the 4th most all-time among all Iowa juniors. Other side, Haley Brown misses a 3 of her own. The junior, a sharp shooter herself, but unable to have that one find the bottom of the net. Quickly back for the Hawkeyes. It's Civilian up top. Had a chance to find Sonano down low, but Hawkeyes deciding better of it, instead working their way into a set. It's Meyer on the wing, picked up Johnson, pass inside. That one batted by Brown. Brown, if she hadn't touched it, there was no chance that Monica Sonano was going to get to it. Sonano a little slow-footed down on the block, particularly with that ankle injury still hampering her, but for Iowa, fortunate to retain possession. Those turnovers have slowed down as of late. Only 9 on the game. They came into the quarter with 8, so a welcome sign, but still, as a whole, not a positive trend for the Iowa team.
Yeah, absolutely. Iowa will get a second chance, though, to put points up on the board, potentially even close the lead to 5 points.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Gabby Marshall, does she know? She does. She drives. Left hand, tricky shot. No good. Tough look. Nowhere close, really. Wolverines on the rebound. Nearly mishandle it. Rauch up the floor. Nearly lost her dribble. Swings Brown, top of the key. Into the corner. A little bit of a no-man's land pass between Johnson and Rauch. Johnson secures those, swings up to Amy Dilk, who pauses up near the block M. Wolverines looking to get into a set against this Hawkeye 2-3 zone. It's Rauch into the slot. Dilk on the baseline. Tried to throw it to a Kenray Johnson off the foot of a Hawkeye. Michigan somehow gets it back. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Brown does not know. Flips it inside. Johnson couldn't get it up before the shot clock. A shot clock violation instead. Looks like the refs are going to go to the table to review it.
That's
for the time being.
Close.
They will count the basket. However, almost certain that a Kenray Johnson was unable to get that one off. It was a weird possession because Michigan thought that Iowa had maintained possession of the basketball to reset that shot clock. The referees ruled that not to be the case. So when Haley Brown got the basketball back, there were only 4 seconds left on the shot clock. She then turned away from the basket. By the time she refaced up, only 2 seconds, swung inside to a wide open Johnson, and by the time Johnson went up after a then contested play, just a little bit too late for the Michigan side.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they put the replay on the Jumbotron and the fans can see how close it was.
They haven't, which I would say from experience, generally a good sign that the team knows it was after the shot clock buzzer went off.
Definitely a little bit of a home scorekeeper advantage right there. But hope everyone at home is celebrating a nice Groundhog Day. It is February 2nd. It's that time of year. Unfortunately, bundle up because Puxatawney Phil sees no shadow. Oh, that means early spring. Oh, so don't bundle up. I didn't confused.
We did have a nice day today. It's about 45 degrees in Ann Arbor. Our first above about 30 in a while. That wind chill still a little tough. Back to the action just over 5 minutes to go. Hawkeyes a little high-low of their own. Intercepted by Haley Brown. A great job all game fronting down low, particularly already having 2 fouls on her. She cannot afford to pick up a third, particularly with this Wolverine team lacking in depth. Like you said, Adam, only 10 players on the roster, and 2 of them never really find themselves in the game. Wolverines on the offensive side, 12 seconds. It's Johnson up top. She swings, driving baseline Rauch. Rauch tries an errant pass. Hawkeyes now get it back. A wide open fast break opportunity. Kathleen Doyle up with the left. And Naz Hillman, fortunate to not come in and swipe late. A precarious position. Nearly picked up a foul, but the Hawkeyes now back within 6, slowly creeping back into this one. 4:30 to go. Michigan up by 6. It's Rauch on the wing. Hawkeyes in more of a conventional 2-3. It's Dilk, met by Doyle, who recently checked back in. Johnson tries her luck from 3 from beyond the men's line. An air ball. Hillman down low. Power dribble. Power finish.
5
from
for
the sophomore.
5 for 5 on the afternoon. A perfect shooting percentage. 10 points leading the Wolverines.
Efficiency, the name of Naz Hillman's game. She's scored in double figures in 9 consecutive games. Make it 10 with 10 points early on here. Under 4 minutes now. Hawkeyes with the ball. It's Kathleen Doyle up top. Pumps inside Sonano. She walked with it, though. Thought she had good position. It would have gone in had that shot counted, but instead a traveling violation against the Hawkeyes. Their 11th turnover of the game, and with it a media timeout impending. Michigan leading 28-23, 52 left in the first half.
Yeah, Michigan has been less dominant this quarter as they were in the first. It's tough to follow when you take such a large lead early in the game. But they have done what they've needed to do to hold on to a pretty commanding lead. Right now it's an 8-point lead, so technically that's a 3-possession game, but more likely than not probably a 4-possession game right there.
Yeah, only 6 points in over 6 minutes, so Michigan certainly slowing. At one point they were 1 of 7. That field goal percentage slowly working its way back towards the mean of 45% for Michigan. It now finds itself at 52% after being up at a blistering 75. So the Michigan offense slowing. The turnovers still consistent, well on their way to matching that 20 turnover mark they had last Sunday against Rutgers. Granted, an aggressive Hawkeye zone facing them on the defensive end, but still Michigan getting a lot of extra opportunities in spite of those turnovers on the offensive glass. Adam, Naz Hillman, as she has been all year, a monster down on the offensive glass. Once she gets on that block, she is not going to be stopped as she goes up on the offensive glass.
Yes, exactly. 5 rebounds on the day speaks for itself. It's incredible.
3 of those coming on the offensive side. Naz Hillman leads the entire Big Ten with 4.3 offensive rebounds per game. She was a tank on the glass last year as well. Only averaged 7 per game coming off the bench, and a majority of those came on the offensive side. So for Coach Kim Barnes-Arico, Naz Hillman, a key player, the first team All-Big Ten player, well on her way to achieving those same honors. And speaking of first team Big Ten players, Kathleen Doyle, exactly that. Last year she led the Big Ten and was 15th nationally with 5.9 assists per game. However, tonight only 1 assist in the early going. Granted, the offense hasn't been there. It's been more a story of turnovers as opposed to scoring for Iowa, but Kathleen Doyle going to have to be the player to reverse that trend for the visiting Hawkeyes.
Absolutely. So after today's game, on Thursday, Purdue comes to Michigan as well to play the Wolverines. And then Michigan goes on the road up to Minneapolis to play the Golden Gophers. And then they have a second game against Northwestern following that, Rutgers, Illinois, and then finally closing off the season against Michigan State before the Big Ten tournament. So definitely a tough road ahead of them. Another game against the number 2 ranked Northwestern Wildcats.
Certainly a tough slate ahead, but fortunate the Wolverines are grateful as well to be up in this one. As you said, they'll be back in the midweek against Purdue. It's Michelle Sador now on the floor. Michigan with 4 fouls against them. They haven't been burned yet. Iowa only 1. They've been playing some great defense. Michigan, great ball movement around the perimeter. In the corner, it's Sador. She ball fakes and brings it back up. Now Dilk, entry pass. Back out wide now, Sador. 3-ball wide open, hits from the corner. Michelle Sador rains that one home from the far corner. A little bit of an obstructed view from up here where we are because of the basket, but Michelle Sador pure from down there in the corner.
She certainly is an exciting player to have on the court because she could lay down threes from anywhere. No place is safe when she has possession.
Meyer pass inside. Olinger, good finish with the left, and back to Michelle Sador. She had not scored since January 12th against Maryland, and in addition to that, scoreless in 5 of her last 6 games. Good for her confidence there to see that one go down, particularly donning the number 24. Great pass now by Sador, turning the shooting into passing as Naz Hillman lays it in from down low. A great look off the post up and a better finish from the sophomore.
With that, Michigan's 3 of their last 3 from the field.
Kathleen Doyle had a good kick to civilian. Hawkeyes end up getting it back. It's now McKenna Warnock who drives her way into Haley Brown, and that foul against Brown gonna first send Warnock to the line and second be the 3rd on Brown and almost assuredly send her to the pine.
Oh, absolutely, and that's rough because Iowa is now in the bonus, and there's no easier way to erase a lead than being in the bonus and having the ability to take a 1-and-1.
Michigan leading 33-22, 2:24 left. Hawkeyes now in the bonus. McKenna Warnock with the first, misses on the first, and for McKenna Warnock, the Wisconsin Gatorade Player of the Year, only a freshman, but already a major contributor, particularly in the wake of Monica Sanano's injury.
at the line now for her second last Sunday against Michigan State. As she hits the second, she had 22 points in 24 minutes, so she is a walking bucket. She can score in a heartbeat. That point there, only her first, so she struggled a bit from the field today. If the Hawkeyes want to turn things around, in addition to Doyle, they will almost assuredly be relying on some production from the young freshman, McKenna Warnock.
Absolutely, and it's now a 10-point game with 2 minutes left in the half.
Dilk around the elbow, a whole bunch of congestion. She'll pull it out. Swings Sador, another three instead from the opposite corner, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Michelle Sador from both sides of the floor, the right corner, the left corner, it does not matter. She hits from both, and the Michigan Wolverines now back out to a 13-point lead with under 2 to go, tied for their largest lead of the game once again. Hawkeye side, that shot missed by the freshman Gabby Marshall, and then off the rebound from Dilk, Mackenzie Meyer, an unnecessary foul wrapping Dilk, her first of the game. The second team foul against the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Sador was just the spark this Michigan offense needed. We've seen her shoot, we've seen her pass, and she's the glue that's holding this team together and really allowing them to excel. When she's been on the court, they have been 4 from the field.
And it's no surprise that once Michelle Sador really fell out of the rotation, this team saw its woes exacerbated. Sador, such an adept bench scorer, showing it off thus far, looking to show off some scoring of her own. It was Kaiser recently checked in for Brown from the top of the key. That ball nowhere close. The lead going to remain at 13. The air ball out of bounds over to the Hawkeyes, trailing by 13 minutes and a half to go. Gabby Marshall just across the timeline, loitering around near the block ham. She swings to Civilian, who's picked up by Sador, usually a mismatch, but the Hawkeyes deciding not to attack it. It's a post touch for Ollinger. Hillman backing all the way off the swing now. Meyer, 3-ball from the wing, in and out. A good rebound in traffic by Maddie Nolan, puts it on the deck up to Amy Dilk. Just around 1 minute to go. Michelle Sador wanted to take a three from the corner. She mishandled it. Instead, that ball out of bounds, and now with 1:04 to go, the Hawkeyes a chance for a 2-for-1 opportunity if they go. Rather, they're almost guaranteed a 2-for-1, but maybe even a chance for a 3-for-1.
Yeah, possibly. Depends how quickly they could get the shots off and whether they could force any turnovers or not.
Still, as the clock trickles under a minute, the Hawkeyes tied for their largest deficit of the game with 13. It's Meyer driving, nearly pushed off Dilk. She instead kicks back out, finds Civilian. Pass inside. It's Doyle looking to go to work. Pass underneath. Great cut, better finish from Amanda Ollinger, the senior from Cedar Rapids, getting involved. Now her 6th point of the game. She is 3 for 4, so it's been all about efficiency down low from the bigs in this one.
And that was a beautiful pass, just straight through the middle. Nothing Michigan could do about that.
A foul there on Monica Sonano. She wrapped up Isabel Verjao, who was looking to slip through a ball screen, and that foul now the second on Sonano, and against a Michigan team that has really loved to go to these two big lineups. Sonano down the stretch could be a major factor. Checking out now, it's Kathleen Doyle. The Hawkeyes do not want to risk her picking up that dangerous third foul. She's got 2 already, and as Doyle checks out, only 2 points on the game, 2 assists as well, so it has been a major struggle for the senior, who on the year is averaging just under 19 a game. Offensive side, Dilk drives, no good on the shot, fouled though from behind. That one going to go against Amanda Ollinger, and Amy Dilk now going to have 2 chances at the line to foul. Instead, going to be ruled against Civilian. The refs decided that instead of a blocking foul on Ollinger, Civilian, the one who swiped from all the way back behind.
Yeah, and there's 21.8 seconds on the game clock, so whoever gets possession after this will likely finish the half with it. First shot is good, extending Michigan's lead up to 12.
Dilk hits the first, in now for the second. Only a 64% free throw shooter. She misses the first one. A foul. No, instead a lane violation called there against Maddie Nolan. So even though Michigan got the offensive rebound, they're not going to have a chance to go back up with it. It's going to be the Hawkeyes, as you said, Adam, with 21.8 left on the clock. A final opportunity. Michigan, though, going to come out for the first time all game in their matchup press. Naz Hillman has really been the point man on that. An imposing force at 6'1", and with all that length, agility, and strength up at the top. Hawkeyes, though, able to break it. Up top, it's Kathleen Doyle, recently checked back in. That violation on Michigan, able to let the Hawkeyes get Doyle back into the game for some offense. Up top, it's Warnock. She gets back to Doyle. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Doyle double team, pass inside, mishandled and swatted from behind off the Iowa recovery by Isabel Vereshau. Michigan escaping that possession without giving up a score, and they'll head to the locker room with a commanding 12-point lead over the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, it's 1 point shy of the most of the game, but I don't think anyone on the Michigan bench is complaining. They had some struggles in the first few minutes of the second quarter, but they were able to get going and finish with 4 out of their last 5 to close out the half.
And for Michigan, in my opinion, we've spoken about the shooting, and shooting kind of comes and goes. You can focus on getting good shots, and once the ball gets out of your hand, that's kind of that. But the shots Michigan has gotten today have been incredible. Now, granted, they have 10 turnovers, on pace to those 20 they had last week here against Rutgers, but still, 11 assists. The Wolverines have done an excellent job working the ball around the perimeter. They've really seen that Iowa zone in scramble mode throughout the course of both the first and second period.
Exactly, and those assists are very new for Michigan. I believe against Maryland, I don't think they recorded a single assist in that game, which was assists are one of those things that are like scorers' digression, but still not a good look. But they are firing on all cylinders against the best team in the Big Ten right now.
The Wolverines running that high-low to relative perfection, whereas the Hawkeyes have had several turnovers off their high-low attempts. Michigan with only 1 or 2 as they've pumped the ball inside to either Vereshau, Hillman, Brown, or Johnson. Many options, which makes it all the more difficult to guard. It really, for Michigan, has been pick your poison on the Michigan side. Look to see who is guarded by a smaller Hawkeye and then attack. And in addition to the prowess down low, they've been stroking it from deep as well, 4 of 10 as a unit, and Michelle Sador, namely the catalyst for a lot of that run in the second quarter. As Iowa started playing better, Sador did a great job to keep the Hawkeyes at bay by stroking 2 rainbow threes in that second period.
She was the spark that the team needed at the moment. Unfortunately, her presence got the whole offense up and moving again.
Before we head to the break, some game leaders. Naz Hillman, the game's leading scorer with 12. She is 6 of 7 from the field. Tons of power dribbles and power finishes from the star-studded sophomore, another star-studded sophomore, Amy Dilk. She had 8 points on 3 of 6 shooting, including a 3, 2 boards, and 3 assists. Michelle Sador, as we mentioned, 6 points on 2 of 2 from 3. Elsewhere for the Wolverines, some notes. Haley Brown doing a great job on the perimeter. She's got 3 assists to go along with 2 boards and 4 points, but a precarious position. 3 personal fouls for Haley Brown, so KBA going to have to manage her minutes in that third period and try and keep her fresh for the fourth, as Iowa will almost certainly tighten the clamps on this one and draw the Michigan lead shorter. Over to the Hawkeye side, the leader for them in points, it's Alexis Civilian. She's got 8 on 2 of 3 shooting. Both of those coming from deep. She's also 2 of 2 at the line. Mackenzie Meyer, she's got 6. Kathleen Doyle with only 4. Elsewhere, McKenna Warnock with 1 and Amanda Ollinger with 6. The team a whopping 11 total turnovers. No one with more than 3, the leader being Mackenzie Meyer with 3. However, 3 other Iowa players with 2. So the turnovers really an all-around affair. Contagious in a way. The Hawkeyes going to have to clean that up. Adam, before we throw it out for the half, your keys really quickly for the second half for both sides.
Keys to the game. Okay, let's begin with the opponent, Iowa. These turnovers are brutal. 11 so far. They need to limit those. And they also, I don't know if this is the key, but just take better shot selections. They're 39% from the field. That is not how you win a basketball game. Secondly, for Michigan, key number 1, just keep up what you've been doing offensive-wise. The one concern that I might have is they're playing a bit physical, and they are giving up plenty of fouls, which could come up to bite them if the game gets close at the end. So that's what I'd say. Keep up the offensive mindset, keep playing strong on defense, but maybe hold back some of the physicality.
It'll certainly be important to not come out flat and, as you said, keep that aggression up on the Michigan side, holding a relatively commanding 12-point lead, but we've seen it all the time in college basketball. No lead is safe, particularly against a juggernaut quite like the Iowa Hawkeyes, winners of 9 in a row. Remember, the Hawkeyes undefeated on the year when they've gotten over 70 points a ways away from that one, as the Michigan Wolverines have put the clamps on, held them to only 25 points, and with that, Michigan leading by 12 en route to taking a much-needed win, a much-needed resume booster. It would be their first win against a ranked team. So once again, for Adam Bressler, my name is Adam Rich. Thanks for tuning in to the first half here on WCBN Sports. Just over 10 minutes left here during the half. So with that, we are going to send it out, and you will be treated in the second half soon by Zach Corson and Will Simcu. Once again, for Adam Bressler, my name is Adam Rich. Thanks for tuning in. Stick around on WCBN Sports.
Go Blue.
And welcome into Crisler Center. My name is Zach Corson alongside Will Simcu. This is the second half of WCBN Sports on YouTube. You are listening to our presentation of your Michigan women's Wolverines basketball team in a top 25 matchup against the number 18 Iowa Hawkeyes. Michigan's on top at the half, 37-25. So far in this first half, what we saw was defense, Will.
Yeah, so far I love the play from the Wolverines here. This is an Iowa team that has put up 100 points before in this season multiple times, so they're very accustomed to scoring a lot of points and getting a lot of threes from behind the arc, but the Wolverines have shut them down, and it's been an impressive start.
As you said, Iowa has scored over 103 times, averaging around 80 points a game, a mark that ranks second in the Big Ten and 12th nationally. So coming into this one, we were expecting an offensive powerhouse, but Michigan has held them to a tick under 40% from the field and just 25 points in that first half.
And for me personally, I think that starts in the paint. Sanoa, who is one of the Hawkeyes' leading scorers, is held to 0 points in that first half, and with the lack of production in the middle, it makes it a lot harder for the Hawkeyes to get their threes going. They still do have 4 on the game so far, which is impressive. However, usually they've been putting up a lot more points and a lot more threes.
And they had the threes dropping early. They were 4 of 6 and would have been 5 of 7 had it not been reversed to a two-point field goal. But now they're 4 of 9 as we stand right now, shooting 44% from 3. And it's Michigan actually draining 4 threes of their own. This Michigan Wolverines basketball team is not really known for shooting the 3 very much, and they've made 4 of 10, shooting 40%. 2 of those coming off the hands of Michelle Seedor, who has accounted for 6 points. And in the short amount of time she's played 4 minutes, 6 points early.
And, I mean, the Wolverines got to love that from Seedor. Getting production off the bench is huge in key games, especially if your starters are going cold. And for the Hawkeyes, it's the complete opposite. They're seeing almost no points from their bench players, and right now, if their starters and their offensive scorers are struggling, it could be a tough road for the Hawkeyes the rest of the game unless something changes.
So again, Michigan leads 37-25 against this number 18 overall Iowa team. Michigan's looking for the first win against a top 25 team. So far, they're 0 of 3 on the year, dropping their last game against Northwestern. They came back from a 9-point deficit and were in it close in the fourth quarter, but then Northwestern just used a 7-0 run to take control of the contest and kind of run away with it.
Yeah, unfortunate result for the last game, but so far the Wolverines have come out very strong, and they look like they're trying to get a win here today. Obviously they're trying to get a win here today, but they're fighting very hard, and they're looking for their first win against a ranked opponent, and so far I think they're doing a great job, and if they did what they did in the first half, then the Wolverines should come out of here with a W.
One player that it seems to amaze me every single game that Michigan Wolverines women's basketball plays, is Naz Hillman.
Yeah.
Naz Hillman early on in the first half, she had 12 points, only missing 1 field goal, not getting to the line at all, which is kind of odd given that she gets to the line multiple times every game, gets hacked down low with those offensive boards. But 6 of 7 from the field, 5 boards, 12 points. She's a monster. No one can stop her.
Yeah, plain and simple. She's just dominating in the paint. Iowa's trying to employ some sort of, it looks like, I mean, they're running man, but it looks like it's kind of zone-like in order to stop Hillman, but the Wolverines just keep throwing it up over the top, and she just keeps getting boards. And with 12 right now, she's looking for a lot more in the second half, and she's been crucial to the Wolverines' success.
She's averaging 16 points and 9 rebounds per game on the year, but recently she's been on a tear. In the game against Northwestern, she pretty much carried this Michigan team, scoring 27 points on her own, and a double-double also with that in double digits rebounding. So she's on track for another one this game as we're getting back. Let's see if she can accomplish that feat. Amy Dilk with the ball. Michigan in the all-white with the pink trim, and the black shoes with the pink trim, and Iowa with the all-black. It is Pink Day, honoring breast cancer at Michigan today in Crisler Center. Kenray Johnson on the right corner. Driving, kicks back out, picks up her dribble. Naz Hillman on the low block. She stumbles, falls. Haley Brown conveniently there to scoop it up, goes up, misses, but she's fouled. She'll go to the line for 2.
And one player we haven't talked about yet so far is Amy Dilk, who had an amazing first half. Not that many points scoring with only 8, as she she can be used to be putting up some big numbers. However, the leadership is there, and she is having a great game working together nicely with Hillman.
Amy Dilk, the 6-foot sophomore from Carmel, Indiana, is the second-year player. And again, she's picking up where she was last year, scoring 11 points per game with 5 boards and 4 assists. Just an all-around player. Some people on the WCBN staff have called her like a Magic Johnson, Ben Simmons type, where Ben Simmons doesn't really shoot the three. Amy Dilk can knock it down from deep as she hit it beyond the men's three-point line earlier today. And Haley Brown again at the line. She makes both of her free throws. Michigan extending their lead 39-25 with just a tick over 9:30 left in this second half in the third quarter. Iowa basketball. It's Meyer with the ball on the left corner, guarded by Haley Brown, gets by her, but that's swatted out of bounds by Kenray Johnson.
And this Iowa team has a lot of quick guards. Obviously, Mackenzie Meyer just had the ball there, driving into the lane. Also, Kathleen Doyle, just some quick guards that could get to the lane. But so far, the Wolverines have done an excellent job. Excellent defensively as they've been sliding. They've been staying in front and not giving up too many fouls either.
And Alexis Civilian missed the runner with Haley Brown getting the rebound. In transition, Haley Brown pulls up, shoots, misses, she's short. Doyle with the rebound. Kathleen Doyle bringing the ball up the court. Usually she's a big scorer for Iowa, but not much going here early on, only 4 points. And Iowa spots up from 3, misses, offensive rebound, and that's good for Ollinger.
An unlucky sequence of events there for Haley Brown. Interesting, on a day like today where the Wolverines are shooting excellently from behind the arc as they put up another one there. Unfortunately, he's missed. Great offensive rebound, though.
And the ball bounces around. Naz Hillman unable to get the offensive rebound. Iowa pushing the ball down the court, blocked by Haley Brown, but the referee says there's a foul, and that's going to be Kathleen Doyle going to the line for 2.
And just to continue my point as Haley Brown subs out here for the Wolverines in favor of Verjao. You know, on a day where the Wolverines are shooting pretty well from behind the arc, it's interesting to see Haley Brown not being that productive as she is the team's leading three-point shooter, but so far 0 for 2 today.
Kathleen Doyle, the 5'9" senior from LaGrange Park, Illinois, is averaging 19 points per game and 6 assists. So she's the heart and soul of this Iowa basketball team. She really gets the offense going, dishing it out and scoring. She made the first of 2 there and misses the second. Isabel Verjao checked into the game for Haley Brown. She gets the rebound. Amy Dilk setting up the offense to Roush in the corner. Back out to Dilk, top of the key, calling for a screen. It's going to be Verjao with the ball, left wing. Back to Dilk. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Screen Hillman. Dilk passing down low to Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman loses the ball on the left block. Iowa basketball. Michigan recovering on defense. Iowa has to kick it back out. Ollinger goes up, misses the shot. Danielle Roush with the board.
In last possession, the Iowa Hawkeyes employed just doubling Hillman. Great idea so far as it seems to be working out. Let's see if the Wolverines would maybe adjust.
Amy Dilk crafty going up and under, scoring with the foul. She will go to the line and try to convert that three-point play.
Yeah, and I guess that's the problem. As soon as you start doubling Hillman, you forget about Amy Dilk, who can do that, and she's going to the line for a chance at a three-point play.
That was a crafty move by Amy Dilk. Amy Dilk with 10 points early on today. She doesn't average much more than that. Only 11 points on the game per average. And she misses the free throw. This Michigan team is not very good at free throws, Will.
It's kind of like their men's basketball team as well, but something they just got to practice, I guess. But Dilk is the type of player that steps up excellently in big games, as when they played number 8 Florida State earlier in the season, she put up 26 points, so clearly has that clutch gene.
And in that Michigan State game, she took over, scoring 20-plus points. And there's a foul on the low block off the ball. It's Isabel Verjao on Ollinger.
Looks like
that's Sinano. Sinano draws the foul.
Looks like they just got a little bit mixed up there.
Monica Sinano is the 6'3" sophomore from Michigan, and she missed their last game because she turned her right ankle, but she's playing today, adding some size for the Iowa team against a big Michigan team. And it's Meyer missing the three-point attempt. Kenray Johnson with the board. Amy Dilk dumped down pass to Naz Hillman. She gets it to go.
Bread and butter, just that over-the-top pass right to Hillman. She's just so big. She can body everyone, and she's currently just dominating in the paint.
Sinano, turnaround jumper, no good. Isabel Verja with the rebound. She's fouled. Olinger trying to get the ball, poke it loose from Verja, but she's unable to, and hits her on the arm. The referee is right next to it. He's going to see that all day long.
And Sinano has been struggling today. She actually leads the nation in field goal percentage, sitting at 70%. And so far on the day, she is 0 for 4, I believe. 0 for 3. So maybe that ankle is bothering her a little bit today as she cannot get anything going.
She's surely not 100%. As, again, you said she's number 1 in the nation, shooting 70%. And Danielle Rouse shooting a high percentage. She knocks down a three-point attempt. She has eclipsed her season average as she now has 6 points on the day. She's 2 for 4 from 3. And right as I say that, Sinano comes back and makes that field goal attempt from a few feet out. Danielle Rouse with the ball. She dumps down to Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman goes up and gets it to go. We're trading baskets, folks.
And everything is going well for the Wolverines so far. They're shooting from beyond the arc well, and they're shooting in the paint well as Doyle steps up and gets an easy bucket there. But this game is getting exciting. It's picking up as they're trading buckets. However, the Wolverines are sitting comfortably at a 16-point lead.
Isabel Verja looked like she was going to pull up from 3, but she doesn't, and that's a traveling violation by Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman made the shot attempt, but before she was releasing the ball, she looked like she may have done a hop step, but the referee says that she traveled.
Yeah, unfortunate there for the Wolverines as she put in that bucket after the nice pass from Verja. It looks like she was pulling up for the 3. I thought she was going to shoot it, but great recognition to dump it down low to Hillman.
And she fooled the defense on that one too. Kathleen Doyle setting up the offense. Pass to Meyer on the right wing. Meyer guarded by Dilk. Dilk poking the ball loose but unable to secure it. And Dilk was on the floor, wrapped around Meyer's legs, and that's a foul on Isabel Verjao, who's trying to help out Amy Dilk.
Yeah, great way for the Hawkeyes to slow down the game a little bit. They have so much time left, of course, but if this trend continues, they're going to need to do something quickly to stop the likes of Hillman and Dilk.
And it's Emily Kaiser checking in for Isabel Verjao. It's, as you said, Hillman and Dilk. It's been a two-woman show from Michigan early on here today. Hillman, 16 points, Dilk, 10 points, accounting for 26 of Michigan's 48. Iowa basketball, 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Ball top of the key, Kathleen Doyle gets the screen. She's driving left side, tries to kick out to Civilian. Now it's Warnock for 3. She misses, she's long. Danielle Rouse secures the board.
Great hustle by Rouse.
Naz Hillman on the floor, but she's fouled. She is fouled by Meyer, it looks like.
And obviously on the stat page, Hillman and Dilk are going to jump out at you, but the reason this team is playing so well today and dominating this game so much is because of this production from their bench players. Every single person around them has been coming in and been getting good shots, and it's been supporting their star players. And one of the reasons the Wolverines have a 16-point lead.
And with that bench play, it's been an entire team. It's been the entire team getting rebounds for Michigan, as it's not only one person. They've doubled the rebounding output of Iowa. They're up 24-12 so far on the day. And anytime you're getting that, that means you're getting second chance points. As Danielle Rouse drives in, and she is unable to make the shot, and it's going to be off of Naz Hillman, who is trying to get the offensive board. As we're going to a break here, just under 5 minutes left, Michigan leads 48-32. As I was saying, Michigan's leading that rebounding advantage 24 to now 13. And Iowa just, they have, what? How many offensive rebounds does Iowa have on the game today? They have 2 offensive rebounds. So that means that they only have 2 second chance opportunities, and that doesn't even mean that they're cashing in on those. Whereas Michigan has 6 offensive rebounds, with Naz Hillman getting half of those.
Yeah, and that's just complete dominance in the paint. That's Hillman, and that's, just everyone working hard. As you're saying, this is just so far today, Michigan is just playing great team basketball, and when teams are clicking like this, when everyone's playing their best basketball, when they're making it from behind the arc, when they're dominating in the paint, it's really hard to beat teams on days like this.
That's right. Something that we have yet to say today early on was that Michigan's a little bit of foul trouble with 2 players early here, 2 players in the third quarter with 4 fouls, Haley Brown and Isabel Verjao. Haley Brown, the starter, Isabel Verjao, the first big woman off the bench, backing up Naz Hillman. So it's going to be Naz Hillman really playing the entire game, I suspect, as she's checked out maybe for like a total of 15 seconds just to get a breather, just to get a quick drink of water. But checking back in after a quick 15 seconds, she's played the full 25 minutes, and Amy Dilk also has played the full 25 minutes.
And for a lot of teams and a lot of teams with big women out there, that could be an issue. However, for Hillman, this is just, she's used to this. And Enrico trusts her playing 40 minutes. She played the full 40 minutes last game, and she's just ready to go. She's that type of player. She's a workhorse. She's going to get in the paint. She's going to dominate you, and she's going to score a lot of points.
That's right. And you said the bench points for Michigan, just overall team effort. They've scored 8 points today, with obviously Danielle Roush starting now in place of Kayla Robbins, so she's no longer on the bench. That's a big loss for this Michigan team. But Danielle Roush has really stepped up to the job and really has done well.
Yeah, especially stepped up today too with those 2 3-pointers has been crucial, as it looked like Iowa could have maybe closed the gap a little bit or started to get some momentum, but they are just killing it out there, especially Roush, and so far it's looking great for the Wolverines.
Oh, no doubt. Danielle Roush, the 5'8" sophomore from Syracuse, didn't really get much time last year at all, only averaging less than half a point per game in just under 5 minutes per game. And then early on this season, with the team at full strength, she didn't get much time, along with Maddie Nolan. But as the season has rolled along and the practices have stacked up and they really show what they're all about, they put in that work and they're getting this time now. And as I said, Danielle Roush in the starting lineup last game against Northwestern, she put up 5 points and 3 assists. And so far today, she's eclipsed that.
Yeah, and this is honestly the perfect time for the Wolverines to be, playing well as a team, because the first half of the Big Ten for both men's and women's basketball, it's a little bit chaotic. There's no real clear team, but the team that picks it up in the second half is the team that has the best shot at going far in both the Big Ten and the NCAA women's tourney.
As we're back, Olinger tries to dump it down to Doyle, but Doyle and Olinger are not on the same page. Doyle is trying to set a screen. Olinger was trying to dump it down low, and that ball goes out of bounds. Michigan basketball.
And Roush is taking it up the floor now for the Wolverines. Interesting, maybe try to get Dilk some off-ball shots.
Dilk with the ball top of the key, dump down pass to Emily Kaiser, back out Kenray Johnson for 3, and she's money, folks. Michigan extends their lead to 19, the largest of the day. 51-32 with 4:20 left in the third quarter.
And I love that by Johnson, the senior out there. She knows she just needs to put up a shot, get going, and she knows she's going to make it.
Doyle weaving through the defense, driving past Dilk. She gets the bucket to go. Down by 17 is Iowa now. Dilk picks up her dribble. Now is Hillman with the ball. Back down to Emily Kaiser, and that's a turnover on Hillman. Doyle with the ball, pushing it up for Iowa. Doyle driving coast to coast. She tries to go up. She gets fouled, but the ball does not go down. She will go to the line for 2.
And Doyle's been doing it. As much as she's struggling a bit today, she has been great at getting into the lane, just using her speed and her quickness. And her toughness is just bodying Wolverines, getting some shots up and getting to the line. And she needs to knock these down if the Hawkeyes are going to have some chance as the third quarter begins to come to a close.
And Doyle had a pretty slow first half, only 4 points on 2 of 5 shooting. But she's really picked it up in the third quarter so far with 5 points on 2 of 2 shooting, 1 of 2 from the line. So she's making her presence felt, and she makes the first of 2 there.
And this Hawkeye team has a lot of senior leadership. And, for young players, it could be easily discouraging being down by 16. However, these seniors know that if they keep working and if they start hitting some shots, this 16-point lead will be nothing towards the end of the game.
Naz Hillman skying above the rest of the Iowa defenders for the rebound, and she goes up as she was on offense now after she got the rebound on the free throw attempt, pushed the ball down the court was Amy Dilk, then feeding it down low was Naz Hillman. She went up, misses, tried to get her own rebound, but was out of bounds. It is Iowa basketball. Kathleen Doyle driving, kicks down low to Olinger, and Olinger just puts it in.
Great pass there from Doyle, and she recognizes that if they want to get back in this game, they're going to need some presence in the paint to counteract Hillman and to just get some easy buckets. So it was great to get the big man going there.
Dilk with the ball, right wing, cross-court pass to Kenray Johnson, driving left side. She goes up, no good on the scoop. And it is Sinano with the rebound, gives it off to Doyle. Doyle to Civilian. Civilian shoots the 3, and she's good. man, is Civilian money from 3, Will. She's 3 of 4 on the day. In that 5'5" frame playing women's college basketball, you've got to be a good shooter.
Yeah, sitting at 5'5", she's got to do something, and to be honest, she's doing an excellent job at hitting these threes for the Hawkeyes. The lead is now dwindled to 11, which I believe is the lowest since the beginning of the first half. So the Hawkeyes are getting some momentum here, and great time out there as the Wolverines are going to need to talk some stuff over.
And we had good defense in the first half for Michigan, but Iowa already has 15 points in the third quarter with just under 3 minutes left. They only had 14 in the second and 11 in the first, so they've already eclipsed those two totals with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And as I said, it's been Civilian leading the way for Iowa with 11 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 from the field. And then Doyle has gotten it going, 6 points of her own in this quarter. She's 4 of 7 from the field.
You know, Civilian's just hitting shots, but it starts with Doyle, and you can see with the intensity, she recognizes it, she's pushing the floor, and she's making her other players better. In the last 3 possessions, she got fouled and then had 2 assists. So it starts with her, and you know, the Hawkeyes are doing a lot better now that she's gotten going. She's been getting going.
I would say Doyle really mirrors the style of Amy Dilk.
Yeah.
Trying to see, she can kick it out, and she can make the 3 when she wants to if she's open. But predominantly she'll be driving, kicking it out to teammates, or finishing down low, getting to the line, doing all of that. So really, that's a really good player comp, I would say, and they've both affected this game greatly with both of the individuals in double digits. Dilk with 4 assists on the day, Doyle with 5. So both of those players are really getting their teams going, and the difference in this game has been Naz Hillman for Michigan, really.
Yeah. Especially to build off your point a little bit more. I mean, a point guard's job is obviously just to run the offense and you know, spread the ball around and get other players involved. But both Dilk and Doyle are point guards that have great vision, see the floor, kick the ball out when necessary, but they can also score a lot of points, and that's what makes both of them dangerous. And good for the Wolverines now is Dilk is only a sophomore. I mean, Doyle's a senior, but Dilk is a sophomore, and she's doing excellently so far, and Wolverines get 2 more years with her.
This Michigan team is incredibly young. They're starting 5. Now it's only 1 senior. Kayla Robbins was a senior. She still is a senior, but she's no longer in the starting 5. The only other senior is a Kenray Johnson. Everyone else is either a junior or an underclassman, with Amy Dilk as a sophomore, Naz Hillman a sophomore, Danielle Roush a sophomore, and Maddie Nolan in the game, she's a freshman. Michelle Sedor, a freshman. Isa Verjao, a freshman. This team is very young. They're going to be competing for the next 2-3 years for sure, and potentially beyond that.
Yeah, very exciting times for the Wolverines. They're playing well right now, and they got a lot to look forward to in the future, but right now they kind of just need to focus on beating this Iowa team.
And they're up by 11 points with 2 minutes, 45 seconds left. As we're back from the break with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, Amy Dilk with the ball in the left wing. She's weaving through the defense. She's tripped up, and it's Iowa basketball as the ball is loose. Iowa pushing it down the court. Maddie Nolan gets back in time, and that's going to be off of Maddie Nolan as she puts her hands up, saying that she did not touch the ball, but she did, and it's going to be Iowa basketball.
Yeah, there are a bit of scoffs from the crowd, as from my point of view, and it looks like from most of the crowd point of view, it looks like that win off Mackenzie Meyer, but it's going to be Hawkeye ball as they're going to get a chance to run their offense.
Civilian with the ball in the right wing, guarded by Maddie Nolan, driving left side, weaving, is an Iowa player, kicks out to Doyle. Doyle on the right wing getting a screen from Civilian. Doyle goes up, misses, and that's a foul on Iowa. I believe that was on Sinano. I said Civilian, I meant Sinano. That's a foul on Sinano. It's going to be Michigan going to the line, I believe, for 2 shots as they are now in the bonus.
Yeah, and we talked about Michigan foul trouble earlier, but I mean, the Hawkeyes are already in the bonus here, so from here on out, it's going to be 2 free throws for the Wolverines, which is going to make it immensely harder to cut into this lead.
And Sinano going to the bench with 4 fouls. As Olinger coming back in the game for Iowa, and Kenray Johnson going to the line for 2.
And at 4 fouls for Sinano, it's unlikely that we'll see her until maybe 4 points, or until maybe 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So, you know, she was just starting to get going, but unfortunately she has to sit the bench with foul trouble, and that could be a challenge for the Hawkeye team. It's a great offensive board there by Hillman. Off the free throw, puts it back in. She'd been quiet for a little bit, but great bucket there for her to get her back.
McKenry Johnson made the first of 2 and then missed the second, and as you said, Naz Hillman scooped it up and put it in for 2, as that was a 3-point play for Michigan. 3-point possession, I should say. And that's going to be a miss by Iowa, but it's going to be off the hands of Emily Kaiser. Iowa retains possession. Michigan up by 14, 54-40, with a tick under 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Mackenzie Meyer with the ball, pass out to Alexis Civilian. Civilian with the screen top of the key, and that's going to be a moving screen by Olinger. Olinger was not set, and it's Michigan basketball.
Unfortunate possession there for the Hawkeyes, as they're trying to get something going to cut into this lead, but great defense there for the Wolverines, and they deservedly have the ball.
Michigan looking to hold on to this 14-point lead for a marquee win early on Super Bowl Sunday. Naz Hillman bullies her way down low, and she's just too strong. She gets it to go, extending Michigan's lead to 16.
And she is feeling it right now. After that bucket off the free throw and just going right back to her, I mean, when she's hot, there's nothing you can do to stop her, and the Wolverines should try to get the ball to her every single possession.
Alexis Civilian spotting up from beyond the men's three-point line. No good. She's short. Naz Hillman with the board. I did not mean she's short physically, although she is very not tall, but that was a short shot attempt. Emily Kaiser with the ball in the left block. Dump down pass to Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman gets it to go. When the ball is in Naz Hillman's hands, you expect nothing less than a bucket and 2 points.
And that play started with a great pass from Johnson, as she unfortunately picks up a defensive foul here, but she got the ball in the paint, and instead of forcing a bad shot, she fed the right player at the right time, and Hillman eclipses 20 and has 22 points so far on the night.
And talk about efficiency. She's 11 of 13 from the field. Big reason why Michigan is shooting 56% on the game and 57% in this half.
And what I also think is just so impressive about Hillman so far is that she's had a couple of shots that have not directly just been layups within the key. Like, obviously, that's where most of her points are going to come from, as Iowa knocks down the first free throw, but she had a couple of mid-range shots that went in. She's just having a great performance today.
And Iowa sinks both of those 2 free throws off the blocking foul by Kenray Johnson, who was trying to draw the charge. Amy Dilk with the ball back to, that is Danielle Rausch on the left wing. She picks up her dribble. Naz Hillman top of the key. Danielle Rausch driving left side. She drives baseline, wrap around to the right wing, regains possession of the ball, still had possession. Naz Hillman driving left side. She goes up on an off-balance shot, misses. Amy Dilk with the offensive rebound on the tip out by Emily Kaiser.
That is a great offensive rebound for the Wolverines, as they now have a chance to just dwindle this clock even more. They've been having great offensive possessions, moving the ball around.
And the game clock, as you said, is down to 16 seconds, shot clock down to 7. As the ball goes out of bounds, knocked out by an Iowa player, it's going to be Amy Dilk taking the ball out with, again, 7 seconds left on the shot clock. She feeds it into Naz Hillman to Emily Kaiser down low. She goes up, misses, but she is fouled with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, 11.8 on the game clock, and she will go to the line for 2.
And just a great Wolverines possession there. As I talked about, the offensive rebound was crucial, and at this point, all they can do is just move the ball, try to waste some clock, and then feed Hillman down low, and
it
hopefully
seems like it's been working, yeah.
It's been working all game, too.
And Emily Kaiser makes the first of 2. Since that timeout with 3 minutes left in the third quarter by Kim Barnes-Arico, Iowa has only scored 2 points with no field goals, and those 2 points came off the 2 free throws on that blocking foul.
And just a great timeout there. Obviously, 10 points is not something to be. A 10-point lead is not something to complain about. As the Wolverines fighting for a loose ball here, they get the ball, throw up the shot, and a little bit of a scrum there for the ball, as there was some confusion, but the Wolverines tried to get a shot of it from half court. Unfortunately, it missed. But just as I was saying, the Wolverines are playing some great basketball here, and not much more could be done. And that was a great timeout at 3 minutes. They had a chance. Iowa had some momentum going, but Wolverines said no. They started to get back to Hillman, and they just have been doing a great job tonight.
And I said at halftime before we came back to the third quarter that Iowa is averaging just under 80 points per game. You would not know it by the game we've seen in front of us today, you would think Michigan is the team averaging 80 points per game. In both the first and third quarters, they've scored 22 points. And in the second quarter, they scored 15, but they still outscored this Iowa team. So it's been the defense that's really been holding down this Iowa team for Michigan, but it's been their offense that's been really, really impressive and expanding this lead to 17 points entering the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and as much as it's easy to talk about, Iowa's having an off day, they're in some foul trouble, their star players aren't doing that well, we have to give credit to this Michigan team as they've been playing some excellent defense. They've been shutting down their star players. They haven't been, Iowa's made a couple of threes, but the Wolverines have been limiting those numbers, and they're just playing great on both sides of the ball.
Naz Hillman with 10 of her 22 in that third quarter. Like I said, she just can't be stopped. She's a double-double machine, the 20 and 10 machine, really.
Yeah.
And Michigan, again, leads 59-42. So we saw a good defensive team in this third quarter, and they really got going with Amy Dilk just hitting it down low to Naz Hillman, dumping it down low, but then also kicking out to Danielle Roush for three, or driving was Amy Dilk. So there are a lot of different ways this Michigan team can attack Iowa. What are you looking for in this fourth quarter?
Well, all right, so obviously Lisa Bluter is a great coach, and she's going to obviously make some offensive adjustments that should help them going into the fourth quarter, but with lack of any points in 3 minutes, it's going to be hard. I expect Bluter to tell Kathleen Doyle, to start stepping up, as in that period during the middle of the third quarter where they cut the lead down to 11. That was all on Doyle, moving the ball around, pushing the floor, and just taking advantage of her opportunities. So I'd like to see her, or the Hawkeyes would like to see her start taking over this game a little bit. And to be honest, it looks like they're going to need Sinano out from the bench, as yes, she is in foul trouble with 4 fouls, but at this point, what do you really have to lose? So I could like to see her come out here and start getting some more points in the paint for the Hawkeyes.
Sinano was the one that came out of the game around that 3-minute timeout because of that 4th foul. And she, along with Doyle, really helped Iowa cut down that lead to 11 points, with Doyle scoring 8 of her 12 in that quarter and Sinano scoring all 4 of her points in that quarter. But again, she racked up that 4th foul, and she had to sit, and then Michigan was able to extend that lead back to 17 points. So with the 2 of those Iowa players in the game, they have the ability to cut this deficit.
And they are in the game now as Sinano is checked back in for the Hawkeyes. Hopefully she'll get some much needed points in the paint as they try to feed it to her early, but nice defense there by Kaiser as she tips the lofted pass out of the air, out of bounds, Hawkeye ball.
And Civilian checking back into the game for Marshall. Didn't hear much of Civilian in the third quarter except for that 1 3-pointer. Mackenzie Meyer with the ball on the left wing, 15 seconds left on the shot clock for Iowa. Now in the corner, driving is Doyle, and that's that's a blocking foul on Amy Dilk.
Interesting there for the referee, because it didn't seem like she was going to call it, and then it didn't even feel like I would want the call as I believe it was Meyer had an open lane to the basket, but referee ultimately ends up calling it, and it's going to be 2 shots, for Kathleen Doyle.
Oh, that is Martin.
Oh, Martin.
Martin in the game for the first time for Iowa.
And it is not going to be 2 shots. It's going to be inbounding from the baseline.
Doyle passes to Meyer. Meyer, top of the key, back to Doyle. Doyle driving left side, picks up her dribble, back out to Civilian. Civilian beyond the 3-point arc. That's an offensive foul. I believe it's a moving screen. That's not on Sinano, though, is it? No, that is not on Sinano. That is on Martin, who just checked into the game.
That would have been a huge loss to lose Sinano this early in the game. As some excellent defense here being played by Daniela Rouch, as she has the difficulty in guarding Doyle. However, she's doing an excellent job today, and she is fired up.
Danielle Roush with the ball, top of the key. Naz Hillman trying to get positioned down low. Let's see if this Michigan team feeds her. Emily Kaiser, top of the key. Maddie Nolan on the left wing. She's dribbling, gets a screen. Emily Kaiser, pick and pop 3. She's no good, too strong. Doyle with the rebound to Mackenzie Meyer, pushing the ball up the court for Iowa. And Sinano getting position on Emily Kaiser, and she goes up for the easy 2. Michigan leads 59-44 with 8 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game.
And that's her shot right there, that little pivot, right-handed hook shot. It wasn't falling earlier in the game, but just fell there, and that could be dangerous for the Wolverines. Unfortunately.
And that's Sinano, folks. That's her 5th foul. She is out of this game. That was an off-ball foul. She was trying to stop Emily Kaiser from getting a screen on the ball. And she will hear it from this Michigan Wolverines basketball crowd as the band is saying goodbye. And that is all for Sinano, folks.
And just as I talked about her potentially getting going, she picks up that 5th foul. And that's going to be detrimental to the Hawkeyes, as not only are they losing a key player, but it seemed to have ignited this crowd a little bit. And look for the Wolverines to build off that.
And that was such an unnecessary foul, too. And Michigan turns the ball over on the inbounds pass, trying to find Haley Brown.
Definitely unnecessary. Off ball, they're on defense. You don't want that.
She's got to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
And it's Kathleen Doyle with the ball top of the key, calling out a play to this Hawkeyes team, guarded by Maddie Nolan, driving right side. She goes up and she's fouled and one. She will go to the line to convert the 3-point play.
Great job there by Doyle, just getting into the lane, sensing her team needs her, and she steps up, hits a shot, and has a chance for a 3-point play.
Doyle got Maddie Nolan in the air and bumped into her, creating that contact. Unable to convert the 3-point play is Kathleen Doyle, with Maddie Nolan getting the rebound. Michigan leads by 13 with 8:15 left in this 4th quarter. Amy Dilk, ball top of the key. Gets a screen from Naz Hillman, but that's going to be a moving screen call. And that's an offensive foul, Iowa basketball. Thankfully for the Wolverines, Naz Hillman's not in foul trouble. She only has 1 foul on the day.
I'd like to see the Wolverines getting back to Naz Hillman as Doyle puts up a shot there, and it is unfortunately missed for the Hawkeyes, but Sonona had not fully ability of shutting down Naz Hillman, because I don't really think anybody could do that, but she deterred her offensive production a little bit. But with her on the bench, it seems likely that the Wolverines would want to go back to their star player.
Oh, all day long. That's the game plan. And Maddie Nolan throws it out of bounds looking for Amy Dilk, but they were not on the same page. And it's Kenray Johnson checking in the game for Maddie Nolan now.
I like that substitution as Johnson. You get a bit more leadership out there and just trying to calm this team down. As they, this is a chance for a great win, and they need to just be composed and play how they've been playing the entire game.
We really need to just close out this game, up 13 with 7:25 left. A lot of time for Iowa to come back as they attempt a 3, but no good. Offensive rebounds, Olinger, who misses. But ball on the ground, diving on the floor is both teams, and it's going to be Michigan basketball. Possession arrow pointed towards the Wolverines.
And you love to see that from a coach. Obviously you don't want to see the 2 offensive rebounds, but the girls are diving on the floor. They're trying to get these rebounds, and they clearly want the win here.
Those hustle plays are really what get you minutes. As you said earlier, before we were on the broadcast, that coaches love players who draw charges. With Amy Dilk drawing a charge early in this game, it really shows the heart and hustle that you have. Amy Dilk spots up from the right elbow, no good. Iowa basketball. And that's really what you want in a player, and that's really important down the stretch when you're closing out the game. Amy Dilk trying to get position there, but she is charged with the blocking foul, trying to draw the charge. Kathleen Doyle draws the blocking foul, and it's going to be Doyle taking the ball out for Iowa. And the next foul that Michigan commits, it's going to be Iowa going to the line for 2. Civilian, ball top of the key, pass to Doyle. Doyle setting up the offense to Mackenzie Meyer. Mackenzie Meyer gets the screen but doesn't use it. She drives left side, goes baseline, but she stepped out of bounds. Michigan basketball.
And that was a big possession there for the Wolverines. Great defensively, as the Hawkeyes had a chance to potentially even make this to only a 10-point game, but unfortunately there's a turnover there and the Wolverines have the ball. I'd like to see them get it to Hillman, as she's been not quiet, but hasn't gotten a touch recently, so be good for the Wolverines to get her going again.
Amy Dilk with the ball, right wing. As you say that, Naz Hillman goes up, but she's blocked, and that's Michigan. Oh, no, that's Iowa basketball. Naz Hillman was blocked, and the ball went out of bounds. I thought that it went off of Iowa, but that's not the case. Went off of Naz Hillman.
That is great defensive play from Amanda Ollinger. She has had the troubling task of trying to contain Naz Hillman, but right there she gets a block and gets the ball for the Hawkeyes, and hopefully they can capitalize on that.
A rare sight for Michigan fans is Naz Hillman getting blocked.
Definitely.
14 seconds left on the shot clock. Iowa with the ball, pump fake, driving as Martin. Martin goes up and she's good. Iowa cuts the deficit to 11. It's the smallest this lead has been for Michigan since that third quarter break with 3 minutes left. Kenray Johnson, jab step, ball on the right wing. She drives, picks up her dribble on the on the right block. Naz Hillman fed down low. She falls on the floor, turns it over again, and that's going to be, it looked like a carry by Iowa, but no call, no double dribble either. As Alexis Civilian spots up from 3, she's no good, and that ball goes out of bounds, Michigan basketball.
And that would have been a big shot for the Hawkeyes. That could have cut the lead to single digits, unfortunately for Civilian, who's started off the game shooting pretty hot, has kind of dwindled a little bit, but if the Hawkeyes get another point here, it could be a time for Rico to call a timeout, as that timeout in the third quarter helped them immensely.
And this Michigan bench is trying to get this crowd riled up as Iowa has gained some momentum in the past few minutes, cutting that lead to 11. And that's an off-ball foul on Doyle, pushing Amy Dilk to the floor. Michigan's not in the bonus yet. They need 2 more fouls. But it's going to be Michigan basketball taking the ball on the sideline. And that's the 4th of the day for Kathleen Doyle, a big foul for Michigan.
Wow, and if they lost her, that could be huge, as Doyle is actually going to check out here.
Time for Michigan to go on a run.
Yeah, this is definitely the time. If the Wolverines want to put this game away with Sonona and Doyle on the bench, they're 2 leading scorers for the Hawkeyes. Now is the time.
If I were Kim Barnes-Arico, I would press for Michigan because Iowa just lost their main ball handler, and you really want to get them all riled up and get in their heads and get them sped up. So let's see how Kim Barnes-Arico chooses to go about this with Kathleen Doyle on the bench. As Naz Hillman gets the offensive rebound, she goes up, she's blocked again, and she's unable to convert on 3 straight possessions as the ball goes out of bounds, Michigan basketball. And we are under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so we have a media timeout. Michigan leads 59-48.
And interesting, at the one time that the Wolverines need to be pushing with both of the Hawkeye star players out, it seems that Hillman is facing a little challenge there in the paint, with Ollinger stepping up and playing some excellent defense here in the fourth quarter.
And Naz Hillman 0 for 2 from the field with a turnover in this fourth quarter. Not getting much going so far, but again, it hasn't really affected her overall day.
That's true.
She's 22 points and 10 boards. I would take that 10 days out of 10 days.
Yeah, as much as we're looking down, I mean, yeah, she's not doing that well in the fourth quarter, but unbelievable day for Hillman, as she should definitely be proud of what she's done today. Dominant effort, and one of the reasons the Wolverines have had such a good day today here.
I mean, while she has been amazing in that respect, she does have 7 turnovers, which is not a very pretty statistic. She may be, hopefully she doesn't, but she may be headed towards a triple-double. Hear that voice crack, excuse me. But the triple-double that nobody really wants with that turnovers. So Michigan has 19 on the day. Not a great statistic for this Michigan basketball team, but it hasn't really hurt them due to the fact that they have forced 16 turnovers by Iowa.
And plus, they haven't been allowing a lot of points off turnovers either. As much as they're giving the ball up, they've been able to get back, and they've been able to reset their defense and just shut down this Iowa team. I mean, they only have 48 points on the day. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, this team is used to putting up a lot of points. It's one of the reasons they're number 1 in the Big Ten. And just today, they haven't been doing it.
And hopefully for Michigan, that persists, because this Iowa team, their star big woman, I should say, is Sinano, and she's out of the game due to fouls. And she was not really that affected this game anyway, but she still made a difference. She's out of the game now. And Kathleen Doyle, their leading scorer, who really facilitates things and gets things going on offense, has 4 fouls of her own. So she sits, so the Michigan team can really take advantage.
Yeah, and like we talked about before we came on the broadcast too, this Iowa team is not the biggest team, and Sonano is that big presence in the middle that can open up the floor and gives them more of a chance for their three-point shooters to get going, gives them more open shots. But without that, not only are those open shots not created, but also without a big man, they're going to be struggling even more to contain Hillman.
And she didn't start the game, and that's when Naz Hillman got off to a good start, and then Sinano came into the game and kind of cooled off Naz Hillman. And then Naz Hillman kind of went on a run, and then Sinano went out with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and then Naz Hillman went on another run. And so it's been the lack of Sinano's presence that's really had Naz Hillman going off today.
Yeah, it's definitely hurting the Hawkeyes.
And Kathleen Doyle's now in the game, risking getting that 5th foul to get Iowa back into this game and cut that 11-point deficit.
And if I was Rico, I would tell my players to go right at Doyle, because a loss to Doyle is a huge N1 there. Excuse me to interrupt my thoughts. A huge N1 there by Hillman to get her going. But just to continue what I was saying, if I was Rico, I would tell my players to go right at Doyle, because a loss to Doyle would surely most likely mean the end of this game, barring someone stepping up huge here for the Hawkeyes.
And that is Kathleen Doyle's 5th foul of the day. She is out. Wow.
And just as I was talking about it, that is huge for the Wolverines, not only just to get Hillman going again with the N1, but also just the loss to Doyle for the Hawkeyes.
And Naz Hillman up to 25 points as she sinks that free throw and 10 boards. Quite the day. And Iowa is now without their 2 main scorers. It's not looking very good for them as they get the layup to go, cutting that deficit to now 12, 62-50 Michigan leads.
Fortunately, with this Iowa team, because they have so many seniors, they can still look to Mackenzie Meyer to step up here.
And Naz Hillman gets it to go, and one again! Oh man, she feels Sinano on the bench, and she is taking advantage.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple. It's really hard to cut into a lead if you're just giving up baskets on the other end, and that's another chance for a 3-point play here for Hillman, as she is now up to 27 and could be 28 after this.
Even if you're Iowa and scoring every possession with 2s, you can't trade baskets this late in the game, or even trade baskets with Michigan getting and 1s and 3-point plays. You can't do that with Naz Hillman missing the free throw, Kenray Johnson getting the board and now going to the line due to Michigan being in the bonus. You just can't do that if you're Iowa and want to come back in this game.
Yeah, and that frustrates Bluter. That must frustrate Bluter so much because, obviously the 3-point play, terrible, but with the missed free throw, there's still a chance, but to give up that offensive board is huge at a time like this.
And Kenray Johnson making Iowa pay, getting the first of 2 to go. Kenray Johnson up to 7 points on the day. It's really been the Naz Hillman show really today with 27 points. And then Amy Dilk getting 10 also. And Michigan almost getting another offensive rebound, but it's Haley Brown knocking the ball out of bounds. Besides Naz Hillman, it's been Amy Dilk with 10 points, Kenray Johnson with 7, Haley Brown with 6, and Danielle Roush with 6, in addition to Michelle Sidor with 6. So it's been 3 6 points, 7, 10, and 27 to account for the 65 for Michigan. It's Iowa basketball as Civilian wraps around and she's able to score a 2-point basket, her first 2-point basket of the day, and Michigan leads 65-52. If I'm Michigan, I'm using pretty much every single second of these 30 seconds on the shot clock.
Definitely.
Just under 4 minutes left.
And as much as it'd be easy to just go right into Naz Hillman for the score, it'd be in the Wolverines' best interest to use all of this shot clock. Unfortunately, there is a turnover. Waiting on the call, I believe it was an offensive rebound, but as Hawkeyes take the ball and get a quick score there.
Civilian taking advantage of Michigan's lackadaisical defense, not getting back on time, and Naz Hillman not able to get in front of Civilian, and Civilian gets the 2 to go again, as Michigan now leads by 11 with 3 minutes 30 seconds left. Amy Dilk with the ball, top of the key, 12 seconds left on the shot clock, driving right side. She goes up, ball stripped out of bounds by Civilian. It's going to be Michigan basketball.
And with Naz Hillman sitting at 27, she is just 1 bucket away from passing her career high, which she had 28 points earlier this year against Akron. So would be great for her to get another bucket.
5 seconds left on the shot clock. Dilk's got to make something happen, driving left side off the rim. No good. That's going to be a jump ball, the referees call it. And it's going to be Iowa basketball as Michigan got the last jump ball earlier this quarter.
Still, though, better for a jump ball than just a shot clock violation is the flipping of the possession arrow is going to be just another thing that the Hawkeyes have to worry about.
And Kim Barnes-Arico is yelling at Danielle Roush that she wanted the team to press, but Danielle Roush did not get the memo, and Iowa is able to bring the ball up the court pretty slowly and comfortably. And Mackenzie Meyer driving left side, weaving through the defense. She gets it to go. That was too easy. Just under 3 minutes left. Michigan leads by 9. Iowa's cut it to single digits. This is getting a little too close for comfort, perhaps.
And great for Meyer to start stepping up as she sees Doyle go to the bench with foul trouble. She sees Sonona going to bench with the foul trouble as well. That's 2 of their senior leaders, and she knows now is the time for her to take command of this offense. And great to get a couple of buckets there as
Dilk drops it in on the left side, extending that Michigan lead back to double digits. Dilk will 12 points on the day.
And that was a big basket there for the Wolverines. 4-point swing there. Could have been a 7-point lead for the Hawkeyes, maybe even 6, but takes over. And
that was a nice jump shot by Martin from the free throw line, extended turnaround jumper. Michigan pushing the ball up the court, but I think that they should just relax.
Yeah.
With 23 seconds left on the shot clock, 2 minutes and 12 seconds left on the game clock, you can cut it to under 2 minutes left in this game, up by 9, potentially up by 11 or 12 if you make the shot.
Great
and that's
pass.
a Kenray Johnson driving, backdoor cut, and it's good. 2 minutes left in this game, Michigan up by 11.
Great pass there by Amy Dilk, just controlling the middle of the floor, using all our options and finding a great pass and a great cut by Johnson too.
Really heads up play all around. And Iowa gets the 3-point play, or they have the opportunity for a 3-point play, as it was Mackenzie Meyer getting Naz Hillman up in the air and drawing that contact and converting the layup. And that will go to the line.
That wasn't a very smart foul by Hillman. There was a great pump fake there by Meyer to get Amy Dilk up in the air and just kind of hacking away at the arms there, just trying to do something. But at this late in the game, better not give up a 3-point play like he did there and kind of just take that bucket.
And it's an 8-point game with 1:47 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Iowa has made it close, extending their fourth quarter lead to 19-10. So they've outscored Michigan by 9 points in this fourth quarter to make this a game.
And I think the Wolverines are a bit thrown off. I think when the Hawkeyes lost Doyle early in the fourth quarter, it felt like the Wolverines were going to kind of coast their way to an easy win. And it might have thrown off their mindset a little bit as the Hawkeyes have cut it down to 8 here. And 8 points with 1:47, especially for a Wolverine team that isn't the best at shooting free throws. This game is far from over, and I think, Rico definitely needs to hype up her team right now and get them focused again.
With the loss of Doyle and also Sinano, it didn't look too bright for Iowa, but it's been Meyer and civilians stepping up. Mackenzie Meyer, the 5'9" senior from Mason City, Iowa, who's averaging 15 points per game, has knocked in 7 points in this fourth quarter alone. And she has 13 points on the day, close to her season average. And Michigan inbounds the ball as we're back from the break with 1:40 left in this game and 24 seconds left on the shot clock. Iowa doubling Kenray Johnson to Amy Dilk, and that's Danielle Roush, and Roush is fouled with 21 seconds left on the shot clock and 1:37 seconds left on the game clock, and she will go to the line for 2 with Michigan in the bonus.
And now we begin the long road of free throws and buckets and free throws and buckets.
That Syracuse-Duke game last night, it was a 7-point game, then a 9-point game, then a 7-point game, then a 9-point game, with Duke ended up coming out on top. But that was just free throws. They were trading free throws for it was 2 minutes of game time, but probably about 15 minutes of real life time. So I'm hoping we don't experience that here today as Michigan extends their lead to 10 points with 1:36 left in the game. But we shall see. And Iowa with the ball. Martin on the right wing, guarded by Haley Brown, trying to make something happen. She goes up, misses, and Haley Brown with the rebound. Oh, and they call an offensive foul as she's trying to get loose. As Iowa was in the cylinder, it looked like, surrounding her, hounding her, and she was pivoting, but unable to make anything happen. She actually gets the offensive foul called on her, and she's walking off the court.
I believe that's her
showing
fifth.
that that's her 5th foul of the day. Really not happy with the call. Exacerbated is Kim Barnes-Rico as well.
And that's got to be frustrating. She's just fighting for the rebound, getting hounded. I personally do not agree with the call, as she's just trying to work and fight for her Wolverine team, and unfortunately she gets called for the foul, and she's going to have to watch the rest of the game from the bench.
Oh, she was just swarmed. I don't get how you can call that an offensive foul. Probably a defensive foul, if anything. And the referee calls for a time stoppage. What's the call? The inbounds pass. He called a time stoppage before the inbounds pass with blowing his whistle. And maybe they're fixing something with the clock.
We are as confused as the players are here.
It doesn't look like anything will be affected. It's going to be Oh, they are resetting the shot clock to 30 seconds. That's what it is. And now Iowa inbounding. Pass out to Mackenzie Meyer. Beyond the men's three-point line, too strong. Kenray Johnson with the rebound. Iowa's going to have to foul pretty soon. Naz Hillman with the ball. Maddie Nolan with a minute 10 left. And Michigan gets it in the front court.
And so far, the Hawkeyes have not fouled. They wasted a lot of time there to decide if they were going to foul or not. I don't understand that. I feel like if you're going to foul, you might as well use all the time or save all the time you can. But they waited about 10 seconds there before they ultimately made the decision to foul.
And it wasn't like they were double teaming and trying to poke the ball loose or anything. It was just like they were sitting back and then finally decided, yeah, it's time to foul. 7 seconds after they could have first fouled, with now Kenray Johnson going to the line.
And that was just some poor clock management there.
And Kenray Johnson makes the first of two, and she is up to 10 points on the day, double digits, along with her 7 rebounds. She also has 4 fouls. So Michigan leads 72-61 with just over a minute left. Kenray Johnson making the second, making it a 12-point game. I don't know if Iowa has what it takes to come back, but we will see. I don't know. It's going to take a lot of three-point shooting as they spot up and shoot there, but they're too strong. They get the offensive rebound. Civilian with the ball, top of the key. She's inside the three-point line, dumps down low, and it's good for Olinger.
Nice pass.
But you can't be trading twos.
Yeah. It was a great pass there, and it would have been a smart play at the beginning of the game, but right now the Hawkeyes need threes, and it looks like they're not going to foul anymore here.
I think they're just waving the white flag. They're not fouling. Amy Dilk driving, getting the layup to go. Michigan leads by 12 with 35 seconds left, and Naz Hillman gets the steal. Oh, Iowa does not like that as Civilian pokes the ball loose on Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman's laughing, having a good time. And it's going to be Michigan basketball with 31 seconds left on the game clock, 19 seconds left on the shot clock.
And the crowd begins to stand on their feet, all these cheers, and, it's rightfully so. The Wolverines played an excellent game. Not a lot of people expected the Wolverines to beat the Hawkeyes, who are number 1 in the Big Ten, and not only that, but number 18 in the country. And the Wolverines just played a better team basketball. They shut down the Hawkeyes on defense, as Naz Hillman is going to get an and one to sum up the night.
Put the cherry on the top, Naz Hillman.
Not only
Michigan up
that,
77-63 now.
but also gets her career high in points, sitting here at 29 with a chance for 30. And just a great win for the Wolverines, their first ranked win of the season, shutting down the Hawkeyes, ending their 9-game Big Ten winning streak, and just a great day for the Wolverines women's basketball team.
And I believe that's the 5th on Olinger also, as she has to check out of the game. 3 Iowa Hawkeyes have fouled out, and 1 Michigan player, Haley Brown, fouled out, with 2 Michigan players at 4 fouls each. So a lot of fouls in this game, as it's a party in Crisler right now. Michigan fans celebrating. Naz Hillman about to shoot the free throw. Michigan leading 77-63. And she gets it to go. She's got 30 on the day. A 30-10 performance. A career night. A career afternoon, I should say, on Super Bowl Sunday for Naz Hillman.
Just great from Naz Hillman. She dominated the paint, and she did everything right today. And one of the reasons the Wolverines are going to come out with easily their best win of the season.
Big time win. In the other top 25 matchups, this Michigan team kind of got blown out, or they didn't really have a chance. They were in it for a little bit, but not really for the whole game. In this one, they led from start to finish. Iowa did not lead for 1 second of this game.
And they just played a complete basketball game. Not much you can really do if you're a Hawkeye player when the Wolverines are playing this well as a team, as the crowd is on their feet chanting for their Wolverines, as the Wolverines are going to come out with a great win here. Final score 78-63. The Michigan Wolverines, Lady Wolverines, upset the number 18 Iowa Hawkeyes, and great win today.
Handily. That was no doubt about that one in my mind. Michigan came out on top 78-63. They looked so good today. As good as this Michigan team looks on some days, they look as bad on other days. And I really don't get it. Like, this Michigan team, their bread and butter is Amy Dilk and Naz Hillman. Amy Dilk dumping it down low to Naz Hillman or driving and kicking it out. If you do that every time and then play solid defense like they did today, they've got a great recipe for success. This is a great game that they can build on for the rest of the season.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously, there were some struggles earlier in the season. Not really a big deal, but this is, like I said earlier, this is the perfect time to be playing your best basketball, and today Michigan played their best basketball, and I really hope that continues for the rest of the season down the stretch.
And like I said, this is a great learning tool for March. Also, they can take this game, see how well they played against this top 25 ranked Iowa team, and going into March, going into February, into the stretch run of the season, February, then March is really when it matters in the conference tournament play, and then the March Madness. And I believe this Michigan team has what it takes to get a pretty good seed in March Madness. Probably around 6 or 7, I would say. They have some marquee wins against Michigan State, against Syracuse, against Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame was, yes, against Notre Dame, but just overall, this Iowa win is the biggest win of the season.
Yeah, and I'm excited for what is to come with the Wolverines.
So as we end our coverage today, we thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports. My name is Zach Corson, alongside me, Will Simkew, and earlier in the first half was Adam Bressler and Adam Rich. The final score, Michigan won 78, Iowa to 63. You can catch our next broadcast of Michigan women's basketball on February 6th at 6 p.m. against the Purdue Boilermakers. Thank you again, and as always, go Blue.